I'm behind the gavel with Jason today. We're going to be talking about a $120,000 banana. This week at Art Basel in Miami, the artist Maurizio Cattelan sold not one, not two, but three editions of his artwork entitled Comedian, which was nothing more than a banana duct taped to a wall. A real banana, not a cast bronze or resin or paper mache banana, but a real banana, was taped to the wall and sold through the Galerie Perrotin, which represents Maurizio. Of course, this has created a huge uproar, tons of conversation, tons of attention to the art world and Art Basel in Miami in particular about what is this a real thing? What actually happened? What does this mean for the art world? Is it just a prank? Is it just a joke? Is it ridiculous? Or is this really worth $120,000 to $150,000? Edition 3 sold for $150 because there was pent up demand for it. So let's unpack this a little bit. First of all, Maurizio Cattelan is an artist, kind of called an absurdist artist. You're probably familiar with some of his work in the past. He's the guy who did the 18-karat gold toilet that was stolen from a museum in Europe and then placed at the Guggenheim in 2016, where they estimate 100,000 people used the gold toilet. And that sculpture is titled America, a direct commentary on his thoughts on Trump and Trump's notorious use of gold in his apartments and homes around the country and world. That's what that stems from. He's done other events, other sculptures. He's used duct tape before to display artwork. So this is not out of his realm. This is not out of his oeuvre of art. It's just that this one struck a chord. When Instagram famous, obviously, the New York Post ran a cover story on it. Vogue has run articles on it. USA Today. It's been, I think, most of the daily news shows and morning, like Good Morning America kind of shows. There's been some reference of it, at least, if not a full-fledged story. So it's done a couple of things, honestly. Hey, thanks for watching, Steve. If you have any questions, just let us know. We're talking about Maurizio Cattelan's Comedian banana that just sold for $120,000 three times down at Art Basel Miami. But it says a lot about the art world. In fact, I read an early interview with a couple who bought one of the first editions, and they plan to donate it to a museum. Which sounds bizarre, right? How can you donate a banana that's going to literally rot and deteriorate and be no good? The gallery and the artists have said, you're buying the concept of the banana and duct tape, and you're getting a certificate which will always prove that it was Cattelan's banana and artwork and duct tape. And you can replace the banana every 2 days. So my guess is they're talking to museums around the country, around the world, or wherever, to see who would accept the gift of that sculpture and who would have staff to replace the banana every 2 days, and of course the budget to replace a banana every 2 days. It doesn't sound like much, but oh my goodness, almost sneezed, sorry. But there is definitely a cost to that, and there's the time, just the daily machinations of replacing the banana. Of course, when you're pulling and you're taking duct tape off the wall, is it going to damage the wall? Is it going to pull the tape off the wall? I made my own here. I started this. I call this effective because, obviously we're not sure, and gavels are effective in our world. There's tons of memes about this around the internet. Some of them are kind of funny. It's going to play out really quickly, though. Just a really interesting commentary. So it brings up the comments. What do you think about, or it brings up, what's the value of the art versus the certificate? A lot of art in the 70s and 80s specifically, and even through today on like Park West cruise ship galleries, are sold with a certificate. And the certificate, in theory, adds value to those pieces. In this case, they're saying the certificate is the value of the piece, that you're buying the concept of it from the artist and the gallery. I don't know how this is going to work long term, if other artists will have the gravitas or the ego to try and pull off such a gimmick. But there's no denying that it was a hugely successful installation at Art Basel. So much so that they had to actually remove it from their stand on Sunday because the lines to take photographs had gotten so long that it was blocking their booth and others from doing real business. And there was real business done in Miami during the show. Millions and millions of dollars change hands. And it just became such a nuisance that they actually removed it from the show, which was another story in and of itself. Another story related to this is that on Saturday, where is that? David DeTuna, who is a performance artist, and if you research him at all, you find out he's done some other things. When Trump pulled the United States out of the climate accord, he spelled the word Trump in ice in front of, I think, the UN to indicate his disgust with that option, that action, because obviously the ice is going to melt, a symbolic reference to climate change. None of that's important except to say that this is another, performance artist who does things outside of the norm and does some big things. He went up to it and he took the banana off the wall and ate it as a piece of performance art, with no prior knowledge to the gallery or the artist, Cattelan or Galerie Perrotin. They had no idea that he was going to do it. But that, of course, brought another round of stories, another round of articles, another Instagram hit. So with nothing else being said, the artwork itself did an incredible job of putting the art world front and foremost in the minds of millions of people this week. And as crazy and ludicrous as a $120,000 banana is, it does bring attention to the art world. And it does make it an interesting conversation in that what does establish the value for art? What makes one painting worth $50, one painting worth $500, one worth $5,000, $50,000, $5 million, up to hundreds of millions of dollars for paintings now? What is it that creates that demand? What creates that value? And what do you need to establish that value? I can't imagine this banana ever selling at auction for any kind of money, because you would need 2 or 3 people that actively bid on such a thing. But I can kind of see the reason to spend the 120 grand. And of course, these are people whose $120,000 to them is like $20 to me. You'll throw it away in anything if it appeals to you. But it's just really, really bizarre, interesting, and fascinating. I don't see this becoming a trend of any sort, although this kind of art has been around for over 100 years. Marcel Duchamp in 1917 presented Fountain, which was just a urinal with a signature on it. 1917 is the first time that's kind of recorded that somebody took an existing object, repurposed it, titled it, and sold it as art. So the idea of this has been around a long time. Of course, Andrew Warhol in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s would paint a picture of a soup can and sell it for a lot of money and call it art. It was ridiculed at the time, although that was a tangible 2D object. Marshall McLuhan, who was a Canadian publicist, a media guy, he's quoted as saying, "Art is anything you can get away with," which I think is a brilliant quote in regards to this conversation. Most artists, and I know quite a few, obviously Amy, who works for us, is an artist, and we've sold for contemporary artists, and my wife and I just love that whole area. We go to galleries and events like that regularly. They're hardworking people. They produce a lot. They produce what they can, but they put a lot of time and effort into the artwork that they produce to sell. So it's really kind of a slap in the face to hardworking artists who are thoughtful and create something tangible that can be enjoyed for a long time. At my core, I'm kind of amazed, thrilled, and disgusted by it all at the same time. But it's really just an interesting thing, and will be interesting to watch what happens at the other Art Basel shows and what happens at Art Basel again next year. So thanks for watching. We're getting ready here at the KC Auction Company to post another auction just about, sometime next week. A book and ephemera auction has some interesting pieces, nice book collection of art books. We also are starting our January auction catalog work. Had a great little collection of art come in today. Some really nice examples of regionalist pieces that I'm really excited to offer. And we're picking up several estate collections next week as well. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the comedian or anything in regards to auctions, antiques, artwork, estate liquidation, please go ahead and post them here. Send us a direct message, give us a phone call at 816-283-3633 or send us an email at info@kcauctioncompany.com, info@letter K, letter C, auction company spelled out.com. We'll be happy to answer your questions at any time. If you see this on YouTube, post a comment below, and we'll respond to those as we can as well. We had a really interesting week. I did a webinar last week for the National Auctioneers Association. We posted the link to that in the comments yesterday or the day before on our page here if you want to see that. We talked about how to use Facebook posts to increase your business. And obviously, if you're watching, you see that we do a lot of Facebook posts to keep you engaged in our page and have done really good things with that. And we're excited always to hear from you about what we're doing, what you're doing, and what we can do for you. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Have a great weekend. We're coming up on Christmas is 10 days away, something like that, 12 days away. It's getting to be, 12 days away. Pretty excited about that. The boys are, and looking forward to the holiday season. Thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you soon.